A top priority of my chairmanship will be to provide a firm regulatory foundation for digital assets through a rational, coherent, and principled approach. We will work to ensure that the United States is the best and most secure place in the world to invest and to do business. So, Mr. President, again, thank you very much for your graciousness and
Jerome Powell, during the Biden administration in the campaign, with inflation raging, he lowered interest rates 2 times. Now, with 2 consecutive months of inflation being down, all economic theory you learn in the 8th grade says it's time to cut rates when inflation is down. He's not done that. Have you had any direct conversation with him?
No, I haven't called him. I might call him. I haven't called him, but I believe he's making a mistake by not lowering interest rates. And I think as well as we're doing, we'd do much better. He's keeping rates too high. He historically has been late, except when it came to Biden. He was recommended by a certain person that I'm not particularly happy with, but he will hopefully do the right thing. The right thing is to lower interest rates, so we'll see what happens. I think
sovereigns' patient pools of capital were piling in during April, which resulted in about a 13% increase in Bitcoin versus 10.5 for gold. And retail via the ETF were exiting. So you got to kind of ask yourself, what do the institutions know
were the
that
institutions buying Bitcoin direct? And how many of them are now buying via ETFs or other forms?
Well, hard to say. They don't, especially the sovereign wealth funds don't report.
Right, no, but you're also, I imagine, seeing the ETFs buying. Because the ETF should be buying on a
in the last couple of days.
But the ETF should be buying on a relative basis on behalf of their customer base.
Right, assuming there were inflows, right? But the last couple of days, yes, we've had inflow. But still, as of yesterday, it should change today, we've had net negative ETF inflows. So, so the first reason is de-dollarization. The second reason is this tech unwinding of this big levered tech trade and Bitcoin trading on its core characteristics, which again are similar to gold. You've got scarcity, immutability, non-sovereign asset, portability. Right. So trading the way people who believe in Bitcoin would like it to trade. Mm-hmm. The last was, to me, the most interesting, which is I spoke to a couple of traders who said, look, if you believe these conditions, these de-dollarization conditions are going to persist, you're looking at gold, obviously, first and foremost, but maybe you missed out on that trade. You're looking at that rally and saying, I missed the boat on that. So what other assets could participate in that market panic long-term inflation hedge? When you do the work, there's a very short list of assets that mirror the characteristics of gold. Mm-hmm. Bitcoin is on that short list. In addition to the 4 characteristics I mentioned, its mining scarcity, its mining difficulty gets harder over time.
Yeah, and you can add 2 or 3 more good things about Bitcoin that you didn't even mention. So.
President Trump issued an executive order to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Right now, his crypto team, is studying how to accomplish that and how to possibly buy more Bitcoin to add to that. They don't want it to be taxpayer money used to fund that. But there are other assets. There's talk about monetizing some of the Fed's gold and using it to buy Bitcoin. There's other, notions being thrown around about how they can do it a budget neutral way to buy Bitcoin. So I think that is sort of the unsung, catalyst that's also part of this huge rally right now. In addition to sort of that macro element of limited supply and dollar weakness, sort of rekindling that original notion of Bitcoin as a hedge against uncertain monetary policy.
Digital assets are firmly ingrained in the financial services landscape. Today, more than 50 million people own cryptocurrency, and hundreds of businesses engage in cryptocurrency and require banking services. National banks and federal savings associations are well positioned to support crypto asset activities from within the federally regulated banking sector. I'm pleased that recently, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency clarified that certain crypto-related activities, including crypto asset custody, holding deposits as reserve-backing stablecoins, and using distributed ledger technology and stablecoins for payment activities are all legally permissible. The OCC also confirmed its expectation that banks conducting novel crypto activities do so with appropriate risk management processes in place. This action reduces regulatory burden, encourages responsible innovation, and enables banks to leverage new technology and innovative ways to serve their clients and customers.
Welcome to the Cryptoteacher, and I come back with that video just to make you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And also, guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have the SEC chair in place. And we know Trump has 4 years to land us in this fourth industrial revolution. And we have Paul Atkins says it is top priority to have framework for these digital assets. And we know while the sheep sleep, the NWO builds. Because again, if you ask anybody who's the new SEC chair, they're not going to be able to tell you. Because they focus on things that don't matter. They're watching the NBA playoffs. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we have Trump on Powell says it's a mistake for not lowering interest rates. But we know the central banks want to keep rates higher for longer to destroy this legacy market so the digital economy can rise. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we have the Coinbase head of strategy, John, talks about countries getting off the dollar. And we saw trillions and trillions of dollars moved out of U.S. assets and moved to the emerging markets. And of course, we didn't get any mainstream media, but again, the masses have no clue. And we're going to see these digital assets being purchased by governments around the globe. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we have the OCC, Rodney Hood, says they have cleared the way for digital assets and the technology. And all we need is that stablecoin regulation because the technology is already there. Only thing they're going to do is attach that digital wallet to that bank account, and the sheep will have no clue that they're using these digital assets. And remember, the crypto teacher told you it's going to be faster and cheaper. We know they're going to dangle that carrot. But little do the people know about smart contracts. Eventually, they'll be able to tell you what, when, and how to buy, and you have 3 to 6 months to spend it, or poof, they're gone. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we have Trump again talking about income tax. Goes back to 1913, and we know what started in 1913. That's right, the Fed. And the reason why he keeps talking about tariffs and taxes, because of course, if you have mass layoffs, there's going to be no one to pay into income tax anyway. Remember the goal. They want the robots, algorithms, and drones to take the economy over, pay each other with crypto without a human involved. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we have the trade war and currency war coming, and will make the Fed stay put until layoffs pick up. And we know the Fed is always late on purpose. And we can clearly see that the consumer is hurting. Delinquencies are at an all-time high. You have consumers right now worse off than 2008. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Now we have Jack Mallers pushing his SPAC, 21 Capital. Of course, he's pushing Bitcoin adoption. And then we have Mark, the SEC commissioner, says that the last administration was pushing crypto offshore. But we know that was by design. And these crypto projects are not coming offshore back to the United States. Majority of their customers are overseas. And like Larry Fink stated, the emerging markets, especially places like India, are already up and running when it comes to the new digital economy. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
You know, in 1913, they traded to the income tax system. We used to be all tariff, and we had no income tax, so we had the wealthiest country we've ever had proportionately. From about 1870 to 1913, it was all tariffs, and we had more money than anybody. They had committees how to spend the money. They had so much money they didn't know how to spend. Then some brilliant person said, let's go income tax. Let's let the people pay. Now, we're going to be able to substantially lower taxes when this is finished.
The Fed the Fed can do something about the trade war. If the trade war continues, and I don't think the trade war is over by any means, Brian, we can talk about it. But if the trade war continues, the Fed has to be vigilant. And because of the expected increase in prices, the pickup in inflation rate, the trade war would make the Fed, if anything, hike interest rates, which is what I have been recommending for a while. In terms of the last 2 days' developments, see what has happened. The Chinese have made absolutely no concession in the last few days. Trump, on the other hand, after a big talk about 145% tariffs, is now willing to come down without any concession on the Chinese part. And the Chinese are watching and saying that after threatening Powell essentially to fire him, he says now that he has no interest in firing him. So in other words, the rest of the world gets the idea that the way to deal with this person is not to make any concession. Watch, and when his markets crater, he will in turn soften his approach. And that is a very bad negotiating strategy.
We are hopeful to have our shares listed on a stock exchange under the ticker XXI. Today, we are trading under CEP, which Caroline mentioned is our Cantor Equity Partners, and that stock is trading in live today. If it's successfully merged upon closing, it will be XXI. We do intend to raise as much capital as we possibly can to acquire Bitcoin. Again, my one rule to my shareholders is it will be accretive. Our Bitcoin per share will grow. We will never have Bitcoin per share negative. At least that's our intent. Our intent is to make sure that when you're a shareholder of 21, that you're getting wealthier in Bitcoin terms. And that's my job as a CEO to deliver that. So we plan on raising capital in all different type of sectors and markets and really blending Bitcoin and incorporating it in the traditional financial system to deliver a powerful equity to the public markets for Bitcoiners.
Is that the selling point versus ETFs? Because you came up with this idea over the course of years. And since that time, there's not just been strategy that you can invest in or block, but you can get spot Bitcoin ETFs. What's the upside? And in fact, a viewer from Bloomberg's asking, like, how can you have more BIPs than an ETF?
Right, okay. So I gotta be clear, I'm not preaching a future that I can promise. This is hypothetical and this is our intent. Somewhere my lawyers are like, that's our guy, right? But our intent, Caroline, is that when you buy a share of 21, and let's say that's 0.005 Bitcoin per share, we go out and we intend to close deals, build products, add Bitcoin to our treasury to where in which you get a press release and you say, wow, 21's Bitcoin per share grew from 0.05 to 0.06. I just got more Bitcoin exposure. I got wealthier in Bitcoin terms just by being a shareholder of this company. An ETF is not an operating company. You know, IBIT isn't outgrowing your exposure to Bitcoin. It's a static exposure through their security instrument. Whereas for us, we're a business. I'm a CEO. Right. I get up, I work every day to grow how much Bitcoin your share represents on our balance sheet. That's the big difference.
For the last 4 years, we've essentially said, crypto, you need to be offshore. You are not welcome in the United States. We took numerous enforcement actions, sued many market participations. What that had the effect of is dampening any sense of innovation in the U.S. President Trump, his leadership, that has completely changed, and we are trying to be a constructive part of that. We are working with the crypto and AI task force that he has assembled at the White House. We have our own crypto task force. One of the first things that we've done is to create a series of public roundtables exploring many issues related to crypto. In fact, we have one coming up on Friday. It has to do with the custody of crypto. Custody.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets. Now,
it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 kids books, It's Time to Re-Educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the fourth industrial revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York. Long COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.